How's it going, you guys? This is Gronk Absolute. You know my name. Before I jump into this, I just want to take the time to just. I never got your name, but you know who you are, right? So I went to Carlisle, and one of my subscribers, he came up to me and he was excited and you know, and he just really thanked me for all that I was doing on this channel. And that's what the ultimate goal is basically to put myself into the shoes of a brand new driver. All the things that you don't know, all the things that you know but you forgot, right? So, but yeah, he came up to me and I gotta be honest, I was that close. I was that close to dropping a tear because what you said really touched me, and you know, yeah, that's what I set out to do, which is to help drivers. But to know that I actually am helping drivers, I really do appreciate that. So the first guy that I saw over in Gary, Indiana, you know who you are, and you that I met in Carlisle, I should get you guys' names right. But you know, for anybody who sees me, just know, hey man, if or woman, you know, if we got the time, I don't mind just stopping and just talking about anything and everything, and you know, let me know what you want to see. A video that I'm going to try and work on this week, if not next week, is hoses and fittings. So I'm going to try and get that set out. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate all of you guys who have said keep it up. I appreciate your videos, all those things, you know. So with that being said, thank you guys, because this is for you, not for me. I'm not getting paid for this, but I know what it's like to be brand new. I know what it's like to be with a TE and then get into your own truck and find out that, well, hey, we didn't go over this. What do I do? You know, or maybe it's ways of being safe, right? Because especially for the tanker side, there's a lot of things that we do where we could potentially become unsafe, you know. So let's just talk about all those things. I've got a dry spot in the back of my throat. So with that being said, I got a question, well, not really a question, more like a comment. I think about 2 weeks ago by Basic Beast. Girl, you're doing it, right? But you mentioned something about how you were in, you know, training in Houston, and you were saying that there was a lot of drivers down there that was complaining about the fact that they were waiting around for a load. And yes, they were waiting around for a load. How do I know this? Because I was up in the Northeast waiting to get out of the Northeast because the Northeast was hot, which is to say that all the loads was in the Northeast. It wasn't in the South. So I was up north. I was trying to get out of there. Now, how do I know this? Well, because I was with my student, right? So I went from Atlanta to South Carolina, then from South Carolina to Keysville, New Jersey. The last 2 weeks wasn't the best week when it comes to miles. I'll just put it like that. And it wasn't Schneider's fault. No, it wasn't Schneider's fault. It was more of our customer's fault. And because it was the weekend, you know, I kind of got stuck. And, you know, it wasn't just with one customer. It was with several. So that brought me behind by like 2.5 days. So it really wasn't a good week for me. It was so frustrating, man. But yeah, so basically I was up there and I messaged in to my boss and said, hey, I'm in the Northeast again, and I've been up here for the last few months. Is there any way that you guys can send me down south or out west? I don't care where, just anywhere aside from the Northeast. And she messaged back and said, you know, she was gonna contact the planning managers. Planning managers got back with her and said, well, hey, we can send him out of there. We can get him a load out of there, but just know that it's hot right now. You know, we're basically trying to send everybody up there where he's at. So we could get him a load out of there potentially, but more than likely he's going to be sent back up there. And that was basically what it was. And then I was also informed that there was a bunch of drivers in Houston where you were at that were waiting. And that was why. That was because I was in Keysby and Pennsylvania and whatnot, and all the loads were up there. Now, I couldn't tell because I was sitting around for I was delayed by like 2.5 days, really, because of our customers. So even though that's where the loads are at, I didn't get the loads. It wasn't me. So yeah, so that's why you saw that. That's why a lot of the drivers were waiting in Houston. Now, there was somebody else you mentioned. You messaged me on another video. I didn't think to get your name, whatnot. I'm sorry, but you asked me about mileage. How many miles a week can you make? So that's a question that I've answered repeatedly. And so what I've done is I've gone back through all my videos and I've found that video, and I think it's how much money that you can make with Schneider, something like that. And I made that the first video that everybody's gonna see if you're not a subscriber. I may do that if you are a subscriber. You can do it both ways, basically. So that way I don't get asked that question that much anymore, you know. But you asked about mileage, and again, you know there's a lot of different factors. Do you have TWIC? Do you have hazmat? Like I just said, based off of what Basic Beast was telling me, there's a lot of drivers that were waiting in Houston for a load. That's because there was no loads down around Houston at the time, but they were up in Pennsylvania and you know, Keysby, New Jersey, which is where I was at. So it could be that, you know, it's different factors. So I can't answer, you know, how many miles can you make if everything goes perfect. I really can't answer that. Here's what I can tell you. My last 2 weeks wasn't good weeks at all, but it wasn't because of Schneider. It was because of our customers. I had 2 customers. First customer, we got there on time and they said, hey, we have a lot of standing water. They had a pipe that burst or something, so there was standing water. So they said it's not safe. We don't want you guys to get back there and trip or whatnot, blah, blah, blah. So we're gonna deny you for the day. So we left, came back that next day, and there was a lot of confusion with the customer. It was now Saturday, so the rep that was supposed to have been there during the week, she's not there because it's Saturday. So come to find out, they didn't have enough room, but they kept going back and forth. Yeah, we have the room. No, we don't have the room. Yeah, we have the room. No, we don't have the room. And in the end, they said, no, we don't have the room. But it took a lot of time for them to actually decide, yeah, we don't have enough room, you know. And then my next customer essentially was the exact same thing. You know, we waited about 5, 6, 7 hours, about 7 hours, I think it was, for them to basically say, you know what, this is just not going to work. We don't have the room. So in that case, they wanted it on the 27th, but the 29th, but somebody mistyped and typed in 27th. So we got there on time according to the 27th, but then they found out, hey, we told them the wrong date. So they were going to try and basically utilize as much of the product that was already in their tank so that they could unload us, but to no avail. They said, you know what, it's just best that you guys just come at Wednesday. So wasted a whole day just waiting on an answer as far as what we should do and what we shouldn't do. So that's where my 2.5 days went. It was just shot, you know. And then you start your day, you're 14, and then 14 hours you have to be over and done with and parked and whatnot. And that was basically what happened, you know. So my last 2 weeks wasn't good at all. Now, however, I will say that right now I've got 2 loads. Now I'm in Pennsylvania right now, headed over to Nalco in Elwood City, and I just came from Smyrna, Georgia. So 689 plus 30. I'm gonna do some quick math and say that's about 710 miles. I think that's my first load coming out Monday. But I got a pre-assignment going from that same Nalco going to Sulphur, Louisiana, and that's a total of 1,227 miles. It's rare that I get a load like that, you know, but as far as what it looks like, they're gonna keep me rolling. So, and they got me this good load, so thank God for that right there. So, but yeah, as far as your question, I didn't think to get your name and whatnot, but I hope that this kind of answers your question. There's just too many different factors for me to say what you could make. I think for the most part, it's going to be our customers that might prevent you from making real miles, which is to say that something goes wrong on their end, or maybe there's some miscommunication, and that's what I experienced my last 2 weeks, where there was just a bunch of confusion and miscommunication, and so that's what really got me. So, but hopefully the next 2 weeks will be really good. But yeah, so I think that's it for this video. That's it for this video. I'm gonna finish up my break right now, and then head over to Nalco, drop this load, pick up my new load, and head over to Louisiana. And I'm so thankful, thank God that I'm going to Louisiana. Why? Because it's not the Northeast. I'm tired of. So you guys know that I did the boat to van thing, right? So for like a good month and a half, 2 months or so, I did Chicago to Northampton, Pennsylvania, which is basically not too far away from Keysby, New Jersey. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's why I was telling my DBL, I'm tired of the Northeast. Get me out of the Northeast, please. But in this case, you know, they weren't able to because of how hot it was. And I guess they didn't have enough drivers up in the Northeast, so they needed whoever, wherever. So for all of you guys that were in Houston that week, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. So sorry for you. You know, I'm so sorry. Now, with that being said, it is February, and I believe that right around February, March, that's when the loads start to pick up. So if you don't know, as I understand it, when it comes to loads, you know, they start to kind of soften and get few and further between. I'm gonna say around the major holidays, that's when you start to kind of get soft a little bit, maybe a little sooner than that. Don't quote me on that. Just know that right around the major holidays, before or maybe even after, that's where the lows kind of get softer. I think a little bit before. I would say a little bit before Thanksgiving, possibly. So that's something else to consider as well. But then, you know, around February, March, as I understand it, that's when the lows start to kind of pick up some, and then you can kind of start to keep rolling in a sense. You know, you're not really waiting around a day here, a day there, 2 days here and whatnot. You know, you can kind of keep rolling. So for those of you that are about to graduate, you guys are basically about to, you know, hit the road. Make sure that you update your NAT though. Make sure that's always updated. If you have to do it every night, that way you can keep rolling. So just a bit of advice. Anyway, so I'm gonna kill it right here. Like I said, the next video, God willing, will be about hoses and fittings and whatnot. So we're gonna talk about that. You know, so anyway, until next time, you guys be good, be safe in all that you do. And if you see me, holler at me, all right?